Hi, so my name is Casey Bruno, and I am going to be talking about my Discourse community today, which is type 1 diabetes. And I want to start off just by showing like a little show and tell type of thing. So this is a stuffed animal pancreas, and this is basically what a pancreas looks like, for example. So my pancreas would be down in here somewhere. So type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas stops producing your own insulin. And when you stop producing your own insulin, you can get very sick and very ill. You can go into diabetic ketoacidosis, which is acid in your blood, which will make you lose a ton of weight, go to the bathroom a lot, drink a ton of water, and you basically I want to point out why type 1 diabetes is a big deal in time now, because type 1 has always been around. It just isn't as a big thing anymore as it used to be, because there was never any such thing as insulin or insulin pens or anything like that. So people would just drop dead, basically. So the reason that type 1 diabetes is now relevant and timely is because with COVID-19 around, studies have been showing that once your body's fighting COVID, it fights off like your organs and intestines and pancreas instead of fighting COVID. And that's actually exactly how I was diagnosed 2 years ago. I had caught the flu, and I guess my body kind of just said, hey, I don't like you anymore. We're gonna do this my way. So my body killed my pancreas, and I've been type 1 since then. So it's not as a big thing, like I said, as it was before. Because of COVID coming around, there's been a lot more type 1 diabetic cases and diagnoses within the last 6 months. And the reason that this is very interesting is because that I said that COVID is bringing on new type 1 diabetic cases is because it's not just people under 18 that COVID is affecting with this. You could be infants. An infant could fight off its own pancreas. A toddler, a teenager, an adult, and elderly people. It can hit anybody. You can catch COVID, and you never know, but your body might fight itself and kill your pancreas, and you could end up with type 1 diabetes. And I can assure you, it is not nice. It is awful. You got to take shots every day. You have doctor's appointments like twice a month. You got to prick your fingers every day. You have to make sure you're taking the right amount of insulin. And if you don't, either too much insulin can kill you or too little insulin can kill you. There's never the perfect amount of insulin that you can take for a diabetic, You just have to, you got to watch. You got to watch and learn about all this. I mean, I would be scared if I wasn't a type 1 diabetic already, So, yeah, let's keep rolling. Let's go for another little show and tell, but mixed with some vocab. So, we're going to start off with an insulin pen. Now, I'm going to do this one quick, so I got to put it back in the fridge. So, this insulin pen is unique because this is what keeps me alive. As you can see in here, there's liquid, and that's the insulin. So, you'll dial it up. You usually have to put a needle on first, but this is just an explanation. So you'll dial it up to how many ever units you need. So we dialed it up to 5, and then we usually press the button, and it's not going to come out. But then you inject it into your arm. Next, we have needles. And they look like this. But the thing is, they're not that big. So like I said, this is a needle, and this is what actually goes on top of the insulin pen, which I will show you. So you put it on, and this part screws off. And then this little yellow is the needle here. And you can see the insulin actually coming out of the top. So we're going to put this back on. So the third little vocabulary thing that we'll go over is a freestyle libre. And as you can see, I actually have one on my arm right now. This makes sure that I can check my blood sugar, and my blood sugar is accurate. So I don't have to poke my fingers every 30 minutes. Because when you do that, you get little scabs, you know, and then you kind of just look weird. So these come just like this. I don't know how it works. I don't know what it looks like on the inside. I'm not going to open it because I got to save it. But I unscrew this, take the top off this, put it in here. Then it comes out and there's a big, big needle that sticks out. Then I'll put it on the back of my arm. I'll push it in and then it turns out like this. And that is what keeps my blood sugar intact and makes sure that I can keep it going well. And then the last, but probably not least, vocabulary show and tell thing is my glucagon. Now, this is extremely important with a type 1 diabetic. Think about, you probably know somebody with a peanut allergy, and they always carry an EpiPen around, right? This is basically what that is, but this looks scarier. So we're gonna open it, and this is what it looks like on the inside. Right here is just saline, and all of this whole little thing right here is sugar. And this is for when a diabetic's blood sugar is so low that they pass out and we can't comprehend or say anything and we're not conscious, basically. So somebody that's around and hopefully knows how to use one of these will take this, put the saline down into the sugar, draw it back up, and then stab me somewhere with it. That way I will come back to life and then, rush to the hospital, all that type of stuff. So, yes, let's just get this interview over with, okay? I have things to do and places to go. Let's see. I need my glasses first. Okay. Now, this interview, what do you need now, darling? Okay. You need to interview somebody to blend it in and say to connect it with what's before. And say something after it to help us see what the takeaway is and how it is connected to your anger. Okay. So, I've been a type 1 diabetic. I've been a doctor for type 1 diabetics. I've been all of these wonderful things. What are your questions? Okay, honey, let me start you off. Type 1 diabetes is not with the bull. Type 1 diabetes is a big deal. It's almost as bad and big as other things in life, like cancer, for example. Okay? Let's see what else. Is there anything else you need from me, darling? Okay, I think we're all set here, don't you? All right. Mwah. So, my main point and reason for choosing type 1 as my Discourse community is because obviously I'm a type 1 diabetic, like I've said. But with COVID coming around, type 1 is coming up more and more, and a lot more people are being affected by type 1. So I just want people to be aware and have knowledge about all this stuff because it could happen to anybody. And I don't want it to happen to any of you guys. So let's leave off with thinking about this. If you get COVID, or if you know somebody who has COVID and their pancreas dies, what would you do for them? Or what would you do for yourself? How would you take it? Yeah? How would you do it? Think about it. Think about everything I showed you. Think about how you would have to use it and how you would need to learn to do it. How would you do it? We just wanted to say thank you for watching our video for English, and we hope you enjoyed it and our little interview with grandmother. Have a good day!